Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coaster News. And obviously, like every week, we've got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides and attractions all over the world. So let's just get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Inversion at Flamingo Land has finally, at long last, started testing. After all these years, and I mean that literally, after 2.5 years of being built and delayed by COVID, and just basically what is the equivalent of SBNO throughout basically the entirety of last season in 2020, the new 10 Inversion coaster at Flamingo Land has finally seen the train fully run through the track testing. Obviously this was a milestone occasion, but it kind of didn't go as planned. But if you're wondering what I'm talking about, there wasn't like a freak accident or anything. Nothing dangerous happened. But basically, on the first test run, when the train was going through the 4 barrel rolls, before then on the ride everything was going perfectly. When the train got to the 4 barrel rolls towards the end, something happened with the test dummies. Basically, if you don't know, the test dummies that Flamingo Land had used were not the right ones, because for rides like that, I think they would normally use like plastic test dummies that had legs in it so that they could fit in the lap bars without flying out. They were using inflatable ones that had water in them, that didn't have any legs. I think those ones were designed for rides that have shoulder restraints. And obviously, this new coaster at Flamingo Land, though it is similar to Colossus at Fort Park, which has shoulder restraints, this new one at Flamingo Land has lap bars. The lap bars, which is similar to the ones found on Icon at Blackpool Ledge Beach. So they used test dummies without limbs that were inflatable, so they weren't even plastic, solid. And when it got to the 4 barrel rolls, the test dummies just started falling out of the train. The lap bars were on perfectly fine. The train was fully functional, and there was no damages to it or anything. It was the test dummies that they used the wrong ones, and the test dummies just started falling out of the ride vehicle. It was kind of hilarious. That was their first test run ever for the ride. I'm pretty sure since then they will have gotten some proper test dummies that are plastic, solid, and have legs, so that they don't keep flying out. Because otherwise the ride can't open if they can't complete a full test run without the test dummies falling out. But it was hilarious. Obviously, it was one mistake. I think they will have tested it a few times today and yesterday, because it started testing on Wednesday. At late Wednesday at night, or towards night-ish in the afternoon, and there was footage filmed of it. It started testing, and that happened. It was very bizarre to see test dummies falling out of a roller coaster. But obviously it was one mistake that I don't think they'll make it again, because they want to open this ride desperately. So I think since then they will have tested it with proper test dummies. But apart from that happening, that little mishap, this was a huge milestone day that we've all been waiting for the past 3 years. Yeah, 3 years, because this ride was confirmed to be real back in, I think around this time last year in like May. That is crazy, honestly. Yeah, 3 years now. The ride started vertical construction in October, November last year. Obviously the track got completed in February 2020, so about 2 years ago. Not long after, in March, they started pull-through testing, when they took a small bit of the ride vehicle and pulled it slowly along the track with a crane. Now, bear in mind, this was back when the train was fully bright green and the track was red and the supports were yellow. Since then, they've repainted it so that the track is silver, the supports are black, and the train is dark blue, because in the plan application it said that they're going to repaint the whole ride to silver and black. And obviously they've done that since. They've fully repainted it. They've added some landscaping around it. And now they've started testing it, which is amazing. They've finished all the station, they're building the queue line, and they're building some kind of like structure next to or underneath Velocity, which is presumed to be something to do with the new coaster. But obviously the rest of it's all amazing, and the ride is definitely on schedule to open this season, and I honestly cannot wait for this ride to open. It is so insane, and it's going to bring back the crowds at Flamingo Land, and I cannot wait for it. In other news today, and basically, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind has officially opened at EPCOT. This also is another milestone day for theme parks, and not just in the UK. Well, Epcot doesn't exist. It's in Florida, but it's a major occasion for theme parks all over the world. Because basically, if you don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is a new roller coaster at Epcot in Walt Disney World. It is a Vekoma launch. It is a Vekoma launch spinning coaster. I know that is a lot. It's not got inversions, but it's a similar sort of take on Mack Rides' Extreme Spinning Coaster, but obviously it doesn't have any inversions because it's a Disney park. Although I imagine if it was built anywhere else, it probably would have inversions. I don't know. There's only one of these. But obviously, like many of other Disney's attractions, it was designed specifically at first for Disney, because they announced it back in 2017 at D23. They announced that the Ellen's Energy Adventure ride would be closing permanently. It was to be replaced by Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, which was later announced to be called Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And obviously they did that. They demolished all the inside of the Ellen's Energy Adventure building. The facade of the building still remains, but that's all used for like the queue line and station of the ride. The rest of it's all in this massive show building behind it that's painted like light blue and green and whatnot to make it look blend in with the background, which is very weird, but it's fine. And obviously it was supposed to open last year for the start of the 50th anniversary at Walt Disney World, but obviously we all know what happened. COVID, everything got delayed. The ride construction wasn't going ahead for the first few months, and obviously got delayed until the next year in 2022. Obviously, in April they announced that the ride was going to officially open at the end of May, which is today is actually the opening day of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and it is crazy. We've been waiting for this day for the past 5 years now, nearly 5 years. It's absolutely just weird to know that it's open, and it looks like an incredible ride. Obviously, like I said before, it's not got any inversions, although what it does have, it's already Vekoma's first, I think it's their first proper spinning coaster, I think. Either that or it's their first launch spinning coaster. It's the first roller coaster in any Disney park to have a backwards launch, which is insane. It's even stated that it is the world's longest enclosed roller coaster. Before then, the world's longest enclosed roller coaster was Temple of the Nighthawk, I think it's called, at Fantasia Land, which is also another Vekoma roller coaster. But this one opened, I think it's over 5,500 feet long, which is insane. It's a very long and lengthy ride. Obviously, it's not just the whole inside of the building. There's actually a dark ride section at the beginning of the ride, and then obviously the backwards launch, so the rest of the layout. And there's even a bit towards the end of the ride where it goes up into, I guess you could say, another lift hill into a massive downwards helix. It's insane. Obviously, it's all in pitch black, so you can't really see where you're going. Plus, it's spinning, so you have absolutely no idea where you are going, and it is honestly just crazy. But it looks like an incredible ride. It is obviously the first of its kind in the world. This is what Disney call a storytelling coaster. It even features trains that are similar to their Omnimover dark ride, except they're classifying this as an Omni coaster. Obviously, because it's got controlled spinning seats, where it's designed to spin in a certain direction to make you look at a certain thing, which is why there's like loads of projection screens all over the ride. Because I was thinking it's not got virtual reality on it, so I was just thinking how they're going to make this really immersive, because otherwise it's just going to be another version of Space Mountain. I knew that they had to do something, obviously, because Space Mountain, that was built back in 1975. That's supposed to be an indoor roller coaster travelling through space, similar to Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, but very different. All that's got in it is really just a few little tiny lights in a enclosed building that's meant to look like space. With Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, there's a lot more to it. There's loads of projection screens that have like loads of different spaceships and this massive celestial being that's supposed to be the main villain on the ride, I guess you could say. It's almost as if you're in an actual Guardians of the Galaxy film, and it's incredible. And obviously, I cannot wait to one day hopefully ride this for myself, because it looks like a very fun roller coaster. Also in the news today, Alton Towers and Chessington Mardi Gras have officially started. Now, obviously, Fort Park Mardi Gras started last week. That was on Thursday, and that was actually received quite well. But since then, Alton Towers Mardi Gras and Chessington's brand new for 2022 Mardi Gras have started. The Chessington Mardi Gras actually started today. Alton Towers Mardi Gras actually started last Saturday, and I was actually there for the opening day of Alton Towers Mardi Gras, but that's been split into two parts. Obviously, you can go check those vlogs out right now if you want. It's been split into two parts, but so it's two separate videos. But I filmed they're both on the same day. But I was actually at Alton Towers on the opening day of Alton Towers Mardi Gras, and it was actually well improved, a lot more improved than last year's event. For one thing, they've got some new crews for the event, which are basically just like these party people. I don't know what words I used to. These groups of performers that are dotted all around the park. They've had, I think there were like 5 or 6 crews that were introduced last year, something like that. This year they've introduced 2 new ones. They've introduced a Tower Street crew, which all the costumes and themings that they have there is, I guess it's kind of reminiscent to the Toyland Tours rides. I think it's supposed to reference that. And then obviously they've also got the new Williams crew, which is based in the world of David Williams. And I think that one's actually been set up to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee, which is obviously this year, the Platinum Jubilee, because obviously a lot of the theming in the world of David Williams is very much all based on like royal things, this royalty and the Queen and things like that, especially Gangster Granny and the Bride, because that's themed to stealing the crown jewels. So you think that obviously with a ride like that they celebrate the Platinum Jubilee by introducing a new David Williams crew for Alton Towers Mardi Gras, and it was brilliant. I'm glad they brought Mardi Gras into that area because it definitely needed it. It's kind of what it was missing last season. Obviously last season when it first opened they had loads of beefeaters performing Oral and Power, but that was about it. With this year they've introduced a whole new crew for Mardi Gras, and it was brilliant. I loved it. It was so much fun. Also, they've introduced what is known as a floating pontoon, where it's basically a seating area on the lake in front of towers that's floating on the lake, and it's brilliant. It's actually, I'm not even joking, it's like properly floating on the water. In fact, when I was walking, I can literally feel the pontoon bobbing up and down. It was brilliant. And it were a lot of fun, the event. And as for Chessington Mardi Gras, this is actually the inaugural first year of Chessington Mardi Gras. That looks like an incredible event. Obviously, like the Alton Towers one, and I'd imagine the Fort Park one, they've got loads of different crews dotted around the park, and it looks like an incredible event. Obviously, unfortunately, I won't be experiencing Chessington Mardi Gras this season because I'm going to Chessington and Fort Park only in August. So we'll be able to experience Carnival and Wilderfest, but I probably won't get to experience Chessington Mardi Gras and Fort Park Mardi Gras until, I don't know, probably next year, I don't know. But either way, the events, Alton Towers Mardi Gras was incredible, very better than last season's event. I mean, last season was great, it was the inaugural year of Alton Towers Mardi Gras, but this season they've taken it to the next level. It was absolutely amazing. And Chessington's Mardi Gras looks like an absolutely astonishing event, and I cannot wait to visit it one day. And finally, in the news today, Drayton Manor have announced that the Loki ride will not be opening on the 28th of May alongside the new Vikings area. Basically what's happening here, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Drayton Manor are opening a new themed lands tomorrow, basically, on the 28th of May, called Vikings. And despite the name, it's actually the rides in it are actually themed to Norse gods. So it's not actually really anything to do with Vikings in general. I mean, I guess it kind of is, I don't know. But basically, they've got 4 rides. One of them's a family coaster that's been rethemed. It was previously known as the Buffalo Coaster. It's been renamed and rethemed to a name I cannot pronounce. They've got a new Zamperla Disco ride called 4. They've got another like little horse ride that goes into a I don't know what it is. I don't know what the ride type is, and I don't know what the name is either. But it looks like a little vintage cars ride, but on horses. And they've got the UK's first Zamperla Nebula's ride called Loki. And obviously these rides look absolutely incredible. There's been a few of them built around the world at the moment. This is the first one that's opening in the UK. But recently, Drayton Manor have announced that the ride will not be opening on the opening day along with the rest of the area because, and this is kind of just like what everything going wrong for Drayton Manor, like with Flamingo Land, with Inversion, with the test dummies falling out. But no, this is not. This is a different situation. Basically, in the ride operator's station for the Loki ride, birds. I think it was in the ride operator's station, but basically birds have actually nested. They built a nest somewhere in the ride operating station. So they're working hard to basically remove it carefully and humanely, without disrupting their environment. But until then, the ride cannot open at all. They can't even test it because I think it's in the ride operator station. I think it is. It's in somewhere like that. It's not like on the actual ride. This is very similar to what happened to Jurassic World Velocicoaster the other year. They were building it all, but as the top hat was topped off for Velocicoaster, some birds nested on top of the top hat, so they couldn't test it until they'd removed the bird's nest off of the ride. It was kind of worrying because we didn't know when it would open because there were birds on top of the rides and they couldn't test it. But thankfully they were removed very carefully and they managed to test the ride. So I'm thinking that's what will happen with Loki. But either way, it's not going to open this Saturday because they've got to carefully remove the birds very gently, and they don't want to disrupt their natural habitat or anything like that. I don't know how it works, but it's kind of a lengthy process, so it won't open immediately with the rest of the area. But either way, it is hopefully still going to open this year, and it looks like an absolutely brilliant ride. Like I said, it's the UK's first Zamperla Nebulas. I haven't been on any of these, but they look brilliant. They look very disorientating and mesmerising rides. And they look like a lot of fun, the flat rides. And I cannot wait to hopefully one day visit Drayton Manor. I mean, it's not far from Alton Towers, so I might visit one day to Drayton Manor. So that is it for this week's episode of Coast News. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you did, then please make sure to like and subscribe. And comment if you'd like to see you in the next video. Bye!